Just a warning that this is for educational purposes only, so don't repeat this at home because you'll get in huge trouble.
Maybe I should do that too. Don't do this at home. Educational purpose only. Absolutely.
Your activity now makes me suspicious of structuring. I'm going to file a suspicious activity report with the Treasury Department. Should they find my report valid, the IRS will seize your assets and the burden will be on you to prove your innocence.
That's a big jump. Hi, my name is Julia. I'm a certified anti-money laundering specialist, and today I'm looking at some TikToks.
I was charged with 3 federal counts of money laundering. When you hear the term money laundering, you normally think there's drugs involved and you're cleaning like a drug dealer's money. That's not actually why I was charged with money laundering. In my situation, the government claimed that when I used investor money, which they considered to be stolen funds, and used that money to purchase Jetskis, and that was considered money laundering because I was using those ill-gotten gains.
Okay. Of course, he needs to say these things because he thinks he's innocent, or he wants to portray a certain image of being innocent, it sounds like. But it is money laundering if he had illicit funds and he used it to purchase something. It is what it is. We can debate on the facts. So he may say, those funds were not illicit, they were perfectly illicit funds, and there is a miscarriage of justice. But if the funds were illicit and he purchased jet ski, this is money laundering, even though the money were not coming from drugs. Shocking. I know, it's pretty shocking.
This is how criminals make millions of dollars and then clean it to avoid getting caught. Just a warning that this is for educational purposes only, so don't repeat this at home because you'll get in huge trouble.
Maybe I should do that too. Don't do this at home. Educational purpose only. Absolutely.
It's called money laundering, and if you've seen any popular Netflix show before, you've probably heard of this. The term money laundering is pretty self-explanatory because you're taking money earned from illegal activities and cleaning it so you can use it however you want. Money laundering is a 3-step process, and I'm going to show you exactly how it's done. The first step is called placement, which is where a criminal will own a legitimate business to funnel their money into.
This definition of money laundering being a 3-step process is a little bit out of date. I think that a lot of experts in the field will talk more about money laundering being a succession of purchase and transaction. The 3-step process that he talks about, placement, layering, integration, comes from a 1990s definition from the United Nations, if I'm not wrong. And it is considered a little bit too complicated and unnecessarily complicated. At the end of the day, money laundering is a process in which criminals distance themselves from their illicit funds. And so they will purchase something, transfer the money, purchase something else, transfer the money, and trying to create as much distance as possible.
These are typically businesses like car washes, nail salons, and even a chicken shop. The criminals' illegal money will be gradually deposited into the bank account of the legal business that they own. The next step is to layer the money. This means moving the money through offshore accounts or investments like stocks or real estate to make the money harder to find. The multiple pass-throughs from one account to another.
This is one point in which that 3 steps starts to fail already. And also probably this person didn't think about it too much, about other ways to launder money. The fact is that a lot of money laundering does not involve cash. So if you do need, not you, because this is educational purpose only, in general, if a person needs to launder money coming from a crime that is cash intensive, like drug dealing, then they do need to put the money somewhere, to put the cash somewhere, and commingling dirty cash with clean cash in a cash intensive business makes the dirty cash seem legitimate when mixed with all the other cash. But crimes that do not involve cash, and for example, tax evasion or fraud, they don't need this part.
Makes this money extremely hard to track down. And the third step is integration. The goal is to integrate the clean money without drawing the attention of law enforcement. This can be done by buying luxury items like art, jewelry, or cars. Now it's just a rinse and repeat and hope you don't get caught. And again, this is for educational purposes only, so do not do this at home. Oh, and like and follow for more.
I have no further comments on this. It is accurate.
Cryptocurrency convictions are going through the roof for money laundering. I'm Atiq Malik, a specialist in crypto fraud, money laundering and white collar crime. That's right. Convictions are taking place as we speak across the country, and they are going through the roof for people who are laundering money using crypto, like Bitcoin and all the rest of it. It's quite surprising because on the face of it, this was the haven, wasn't it, for people who wish to avoid taxes or hide money from criminal acts, criminal proceeds, etc. So how is this happening? How are the prosecution, the police, able to track and prosecute money that is being laundered?
Is he in favor of crypto being used for criminal proceeds? Like, he sounds sincerely sorry that justice is happening.
Through cryptocurrency. Well, it's a combination of using traditional investigation techniques for banking fraud and other white-collar crimes, combined with that using drugs cases of good phone, bad phone, dirty phone, clean phone, all the rest of it. But that still doesn't answer how are they able to track and trace the movement of money when it comes to crypto. And what transpires is that it's all done through the exchanges. There are many people who buy and sell their crypto via exchanges like Binance and other similar exchanges. And those exchanges contain registers of who owns what account, what money what amounts of money are being used to buy crypto, to sell crypto, etc. And that creates the trail, which once the prosecution get the teeth into, there's no letting go. So we can see that those days of cryptocurrency being an absolute protection for people who are trying to hide money and move money around the world without detection is not as simple as we once thought.
Yeah, he's sorry. He's sorry that those days are gone. I am happy, if you ask me. I think that new technologies, like every new technologies, including cryptocurrency, it takes a little bit of time for regulator to figure out how to regulate them and how to monitor them. So when it first started, it was a new thing. It was like the Wild West, and there was a lot of cowboys that were using cryptocurrency to hide their funds, to hide their illegitimate money. And then time has passed, and regulators have figured out how to check that and how to make sure that these tools are not used for, or trying to reduce how much these are used for illegitimate reasons. So this is why what happened. The particular process that he's talking about, there are different type of transactions that can be done with cryptocurrency, and specifically for the purpose of anti-money laundering. If two people transfer money, cryptocurrency between each other, it's like I give cash to someone. There is no body, no authority, no financial institutions that can check that, because it's just money moving from one person to another person. But at the time in which a person using cryptocurrency need to use a provider like a coin exchanger or something to exchange from one crypto to another crypto, or a mixer, or any provider that provide cryptocurrency services, that provider is a financial institutions that need to comply with anti-money laundering legislations. And because of that, they're going to need to do customer due diligence on the person, and they're going to record who's transacting, how much. They're going to monitor the person. And because of these reasons, if something illicit happen at that point, at that exchange, it will probably be detected and it will be reported to the authorities.
Hello, bank. I would like to deposit $9,999. Very well, sir. You see, I know you guys have to report all deposits over $10,000 to the IRS.
This looks American-based, but every country will have similar standards, similar legislation. This is because the reporting of cash transaction is an international standard set by the Financial Action Task Force, which is an international organization that function as the watchdog for anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism. So the FATF, Financial Action Task Force, set up a standard, and then countries need to pass law at the national level to enforce the standards in their country, and they will have the competent authority in charge of getting these reports.
And I don't want the government looking at my personal banking activity. That is true, sir. Those laws are in place to fight illegal activity and money laundering. Yeah. Once you're done with that, here, take this. That's another $9,999 to deposit. Very well. You probably also know they target people for structuring, depositing just under a $10,000 reporting requirement. It's highly illegal.
It's not illegal to deposit below the threshold. You can deposit below the threshold. You can make multiple deposits below the threshold, but the bank will ask you a lot of questions. Will ask you why, will ask you where the money is coming from, and they will probably send a suspicious activity report to the financial intelligence unit of the police. I think that using this um, incorrect language when we talk about anti-money laundering, it's not useful. And this channel looks like they're trying to do some educational content about anti-money laundering, about money laundering in general, and using this language that is incorrect and that demonize anti-money laundering legislation, says that you can't do anything, depositing under the threshold is illegal, is highly illegal. It doesn't really help, because anti-money laundering legislations are already hated enough by businesses and by individuals, by citizens, while they are trying to protect people, they're trying to protect community from crimes. And at least we should try and use the correct language when we talk about it.
Your activity now makes me suspicious of structuring. I'm going to file a suspicious activity report with the Treasury Department. Should they find my report valid, the IRS will seize your assets, and the burden will be on you to prove your innocence.
That's a big jump from making 2 deposit below $10,000 in cash and freezing someone's assets. I doubt that that's exactly what happens. So what happened, to my knowledge, what happened when a financial institution like a bank send a suspicious activity report to the relevant authority, the police, financial intelligence unit of the police, it really depends on the country, but the relevant authority will look into the database and figure out if that person is a suspect of something or if there is an investigation. So if a person receives one suspicious activity report and is completely isolated, I think it will be hard that anything else happen after that, simply because this type of investigations are time consuming and are very costly. So if there is not a lot to go by, it's hard that someone will have any much of a follow-up after that. But obviously, if that suspicious activity report in relation of that specific below threshold deposit are within a broader spectrum, a broader framework of investigation, and that person has done other things that are currently under investigation, that further suspicious activity report will continue to paint the picture and will put together enough data for the police to charge that person.
So why can't you spend dirty money as cash? Like, why does it have to be cleaned and put in a bank? Well, you can, as long as it's an ordinary amount of money. Buy some gas, ice cream, groceries. A few thousand will never get noticed, but that's all the money's good for. You can't ball out.
It works until it stops working, really. It is true that buying with cash things like grocery and gas doesn't raise any red flag, because people working in this type of businesses, they're very used to people buying with cash. So you go to your local grocery stores and pay with cash and nobody will think anything of it. But if a person is subject of a police investigation, of a financial investigation, the detective will look into that person's spending, and noticing a pattern of never buying grocery or never buying gas with your checking account, it pictures a pattern of having a lot of cash. So even that absence, after a certain amount of time, it gets noticed.
Well, how much would get noticed? Well, $1 million is pretty easy to spot. The house you live in, the car you drive, suddenly having a bunch of designer clothes, and people get suspicious unless you can explain it, which is what laundering does. Thanks, this will definitely not be information that I use to stay out of jail.
Yeah, fair. Back in the days, it was possible to buy houses with cash, with um, money without an explanation. But fortunately, now we have, or other luxury items like cars and things like that. But now, fortunately, we have anti-money laundering legislations that will require the financial institutions that do this type of transaction to ask question to a person why they are buying such a big assets with cash, and it makes it harder for criminals to use the money. I think that a lot of, for example, a lot of car dealers, a lot of real estate agents, a lot of reporting entities that are my clients, they just say, we never accept cash ever. And that's a good way. It's a very good, prudent way to go about it. Hey, this is Julia from the future. I forgot to record the end of this video. So, hi, I'm Julia from Total AML. If you like this format, let me know. I would like to do more TikTok React. So, send me any TikTok if you have them that you think will be interesting for me to react to. Comment, like, subscribe, the usual. It really helps the channel. Click through one of my other React video. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.